let's talk about some of the costs associated with buying a home. But first, here is a quick pop quiz. Y'all know I used to be a teacher, so I gotta throw in a pop quiz any chance that I get. But don't worry, it's only 3 questions. Question 1, what are the upfront expenses that you'll need to pay once you go under contract? Question 2, what are closing costs and how much money will they be? And question 3, can closing costs be reduced? If you're slightly freaking out that you don't know the answer to these questions, don't worry, that is exactly why I'm here. And this video will cover all of those questions and then some. I'm Staci Russell, your Northwest Houston Realtor, educating buyers, sellers, and investors on all things real estate. And this video is meant to give you a much better understanding of the upfront fees and closing costs associated with buying a home. Be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll share my tips on how you can reduce closing costs. Before we start, it's important to note that closing costs can differ depending on your location and your specific circumstances. I'm a realtor in Texas, so the information in this video may be different from where you live, so be sure to consult with a professional in your area to get the most accurate information. Let's start with upfront expenses. Once you've found a home, written an offer, and that offer has been executed, meaning that both the buyer and the seller have signed the contract, you'll need to pay 2 things. The first is the option fee and the second is your earnest money. These expenses are typically paid together, but one will go to the seller and one will go to the buyer's down payment. Let's look at the option fee first. The option fee is a courtesy payment to the seller for taking the home off the market while the buyer performs their due diligence. The option fee pays for the buyer's option period. During this option period, the buyer has the unrestricted right to terminate the contract and get all of their earnest money back. Option fees can range in price and option periods can range in length of time, but I typically prep my clients to spend about $25 a day for a 7 to 10 day option period. However, the option fee is negotiable, and in a more competitive market, I may advise my clients to increase the option fee and decrease the option period to make their offer stand out to the seller. Either way, it's important for a buyer to know that you will not get this money back. This fee is paid to the seller whether the buyer purchases the home or not. Now let's take a look at earnest money. Earnest money is a deposit that shows the seller how serious you are about buying the property. Earnest money is typically 1% of the sales price, but is also negotiable, and you can make the decision to increase that amount to make your offer stand out. In the event that you decide to terminate the contract during your option period, your earnest money is protected and you will get all of it back. If you decide to move forward with purchasing the property, your earnest money deposit will be applied towards your down payment. There are other loopholes in the contract that allow a buyer to get all of their earnest money back after the option period has ended. And this is where I'm going to give you my PSA about how having a great real estate agent can help you protect your money during the home buying process. Your option period starts the day after the contract is executed. During this time, it's crucial for you to get all necessary inspections. At a minimum, you need to get a home inspection from a licensed inspector. A home inspection can range in price from $350 to $700 depending on the property or the square footage. Also, depending on your property or loan type, you may want or have to get other inspections such as septic systems, wood-destroying insects, or pool and spa inspections. After your inspections have been completed, you'll receive an inspection report, and that'll give you a really good idea on everything that was inspected and if there are any issues that need to be addressed. A buyer can use that inspection report to negotiate a reduction in sales price, request repairs, ask for seller concessions at closing, or terminate the contract. Now that we've covered some of the upfront costs of buying a home, let's talk about closing costs. Closing costs are exactly what they sound like. These are costs that you'll pay the day of closing. Typically, buyers can expect to spend anywhere from 0 to 6% of the sales price on closing costs. Some of these costs are negotiable and depend on how a contract is written. Check out my video, What to Look For in an Offer, that explains all of the negotiables in the TREC 1 to 4 family residential contract. Buyers typically have a pretty lengthy list of closing costs that can include lender fees, title and escrow fees, survey fees, prorated property taxes, attorney's fees, recording fees, and HOA fees. Before closing day, you'll receive several documents, and one of those will be your settlement statement. This document breaks down all of the buyer and seller debits and credits so that you know what has already been paid and prorated, as well as how much money you'll need to bring the day of closing. So far, I've given you a lot of information and I don't want to overwhelm you in one video. Buyer closing costs can be lengthy and can fluctuate depending on the sales price and the terms in the contract. Some fees are literally $2 and then others can be thousands of dollars. So I'm going to touch on a few of the most expensive closing costs, and then if you're interested in learning more about specific closing costs, drop your comments below and let me know so that I can make a video for you. So let's start with lender fees. Lender fees are charged by the mortgage lender for processing your loan application and include costs such as origination fees, underwriting fees, and appraisal review fees. These fees are based on what you and your lender have discussed. For instance, buying down your interest rate could increase your lender fees because you're paying more out of pocket for a reduced interest rate. Next up are title fees. These fees are charged to conduct a thorough search of the property's title history, making sure that there are no claims, liens, or encumbrances that could affect your ownership rights. These fees typically cover the cost of a title search, title insurance, and recording fees. You've made it to the end of the video, and I promised I would tell you some tips on how to reduce your closing costs. My first tip is to research lenders and the loan programs that they offer. I work with some of the best lenders in the industry, and I hear about some amazing loan products for buyers. For example, I have worked with a credit union called TDECU that offers 100 and 103% conventional loan products. This type of loan product takes the stress off of the buyers by rolling closing costs into the loan or offering more money to the seller in exchange for the seller paying for the buyer's closing costs. I've linked information about TDECU and my other lenders on my preferred vendor list in the description below. While you're researching lenders and asking about loan products, be sure to ask the lender about down payment assistance programs. This is another great way for buyers to save money at closing. These programs are available in many different areas and can help eligible buyers save money on their down payment and closing costs. These programs do often have specific requirements, but most lenders can help you see if you qualify. Another way to potentially reduce closing costs is through seller concessions. This involves negotiating with the seller to cover some of your closing costs. This can be done by increasing the purchase price slightly, just like the TDECU 103% loan product, or by negotiating seller concessions after a home inspection has been performed. I hope that you've gotten a better understanding of the upfront expenses and closing costs that go into buying a home. Researching and understanding these costs can help you avoid any surprises along the home buying process. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Liking this video helps YouTube push it out to more people who could use this information. I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and learn how I can help you feel more confident in your buying, selling, or investing journey. As always, feel free to leave me questions or comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.